You guys, I literally just got dropped off by the car that brought me here, and right here at the edge of the waterway are my first 2 wild alligators. They're really, really tiny, but I am so excited to see them. This is a great way to start. So I love going to academic conferences because it gives me a chance to network with other scientists and share my research, but there's something really fun about the opportunity to explore a new city and a new ecosystem when I travel for these conferences. I'm in New Orleans for the Ecological Society of America conference, and today I will be exploring the Bayou Sauvage National Wildlife Refuge. I've chosen this refuge in particular because it was pretty close to the city of New Orleans, which means that most people could access this green space pretty easily, and also because the website listed this as being an excellent place for waterfowl and alligators. I just saw my first wild alligators as I walked out of the parking lot, and I was so excited. Last night I tried eating alligator at a restaurant for the first time, so I feel like now I've had the complete experience. As I was standing at the edge of this boardwalk, I could hear lots of waterfowl kind of off in the rushes and off in the plants and off out in the water farther. It's really a tease when you're only on your feet. I think to do it upright to explore this spot, you definitely want to have a canoe or borrow a canoe or something. This canoe launch doesn't seem to have a boat rental available, which is kind of unfortunate, but yeah, I think if you were going to come here to really experience it, you'd want to have a boat. When I say that this wildlife refuge is accessible to people in New Orleans, I really mean it. There's a 4-lane highway going through this refuge, but I bet most people don't even really stop to think about the amazing wildlife and natural resources that they've got right here. If you guys have been watching for a while, then you know how much I love insects. You can hear cicadas overhead, and there's crickets and grasshoppers in the grass, and I think I've already seen like 4 or 5 different species of dragonflies just in this one little area of marsh, so I'm very happy. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to get all of the dragonflies on video because they just move too fast, but trust me, they are here in all of their stunning colors. I'm now starting on what's called the Ridge Trail here in Bayou Sauvage. I guess they say ridge because it's a very slightly raised area of land from silt deposits, and depositing silt apparently is actually one of the really important things about this area, that as the levees were built to protect human settlement like New Orleans and farms in the area, that actually disrupted the deposition of silt in this area. So erosion has been causing a lot of changes in these ecosystems. So it looks like this trail is going to wander through some of the forested areas and also be able to look out onto the bayou and out onto a marsh. So I'm really excited. Let's see what we can see. Apparently, a lot of the area of this refuge was negatively affected by Hurricane Katrina, and that sounds like it happened a really long time ago, but not for an ecosystem. Time is very much a relative thing, and all of the vegetation here and the soils and the wildlife might take quite a bit of time to recover, if it even recovers the same way it was before the hurricane at all. I don't know who this poo belongs to, but it's very interesting looking. It's got like wood chips in it, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna say it again, guys. The struggle to film dragonflies and birds is real. They move too darn fast. As expected, it is ridiculously humid out here. It's not actually even as hot maybe as it's been in my home in the last few weeks, but it is so humid. I am sweating profusely, so I just had a little bit of a snack and a drink of water to make sure that I don't dehydrate while I'm out here, and of course I'm wearing a lot of sunscreen because even though this is a forested area of this wildlife refuge, most of it is exposed to the sun. Okay, this guy just jumped onto this plant right in front of me, or I don't think I ever would have seen him because he's so huge. Let me see. I kind of want to see if I can grab him. He's gonna jump, isn't he? Don't jump. Ah, darn. That was a super giant grasshopper, but in amongst all the tree branches, I wasn't sure I would be able to get him easily. This sign caught my eye. I know that feral pigs are a big problem here in the South, but you know, it's interesting to have it here along the trail. As I look around, The ground here doesn't really seem to be disturbed by rooting around of pigs, so I guess that's good news for this area, but still something that we have to be concerned about. Invasive species can be a huge problem for local ecosystems. Speaking of invasive species, here's another sign about them. I've noticed a lot of these tallow trees sort of ringing the boardwalk here, and yeah, they seem to have pretty much taken over quite a bit of the refuge, which is a little unfortunate. I wonder what this place would look like pre-tallow trees. I got one! It's all about grabbing with my dominant hand, apparently. This is a fascinatingly huge grasshopper. Look at this. Wow. It's really big. And they blend in so well against these trees. Look at this. Whoop! Yeah. Again, I'm just seeing them out of luck because they're so big. Here's more of that mystery scat, but it might have been a little naive of me to say wood chips. I think these might be bone fragments. I'm not sure. There's definitely like hair or something in this. This is a real mystery. Hey guys, Sheryl from the future here. So one of my colleagues pointed out that mystery poo was actually owl pellets that had been coughed up on the walkway. I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't recognize that that's what they were at first, but on the other hand, I'd never actually seen owl pellets in the wild before, so still a very exciting find. You know, I wasn't sure at first as I was watching these clumps of grass in the water. I thought, oh no, they just look like they're moving because of the movement of the water and the breeze, but if you watch the plants against like a landmark on the far shore, they are moving. This kind of reminds me of shifting dislodged bog segments that I saw when I was in upstate New York in the Adirondacks. Weird. It's interesting to think about how this area was affected by Hurricane Katrina. These kinds of ecosystems have been affected by hurricanes for centuries, probably longer than that. And, you know, so they're adapted to coming back after that sort of destruction, but the difference now, after a big destructive event like Hurricane Katrina, is that these ecosystems aren't operating just on their own anymore. Now there's this human element that has invited in those invasive species that I was just looking at on the signs. And so when an ecosystem is disturbed now, with all of these human inputs, they don't necessarily go back to the way they were before. And I'm not saying that going back exactly the way they were before is best. Ecologists argue about that kind of stuff all the time. I just think it's interesting that now that there are these human elements, the restoration or the self-regrowth of an ecosystem after a destructive event like a hurricane disturbance is very different than it was pre-human influence. I cannot believe I almost walked past this. It's a good thing I came back. One of my favorite kinds of spider, the yellow and black garden spiders, Argiops. Oh, come on. Of course my camera doesn't want to focus on this beautiful spider. There we go. It's so pretty. And they always have this very distinctive, thicker white part of their web. So even if you don't see the spider on the web, you can know what kind of spider made the web. Beautiful. And of course, now that I've seen one, here is another right here against the boardwalk. So that's cool. I missed both of these when I was walking out the boardwalk. So I'm very glad I came back and re-walked this section. There's always something new to see when you walk in nature. You know what's interesting is that I expected it to be buggy. It is a wet area after all. But I was expecting mosquitoes, and that is not what I am finding and having trouble with. I haven't been bitten that many times yet, but there are these enormous biting flies here. I don't have trouble with mosquitoes here. I don't know if there are mosquitoes out right now, but the biting flies are like getting caught in my hair and landing on me, and I think I got at least one bite, so not what I was expecting, but yes, it is buggy.